And then you get your midterm grade and you're like, what? Q? Hey everybody, it's Dr. Leah with another episode of And I Should Care Because, the podcast where we talk about higher education changes, policy changes, all the things, and to help you navigate those changes, one news story at a time. We are back to our normal kind of here's an article and here's something related to that. So there's been a lot of talk in the news about the organic chemistry professor at NYU being fired for his class being too difficult. I ain't taking no sides, okay? Quite frankly, there's valid arguments on both sides, right? So students need to invest time and energy into becoming self-driven learners, and professors need to invest time and energy into facilitating the process of that, and they have to present the new material in the class in an accessible way, right? So I ain't there. I'm not at NYU. I'm not a student there. I'm not a teacher there in that department. So I'm not talking about that today. But what it did inspire was it just made me think about the time of the semester. So we're approaching midterms, and that's just a difficult, stressful time for everybody, students and faculty alike. And so I thought this would be a good time to just reflect on, kind of some inspiration, some insights in how to do your best when it comes to midterm season and finishing strong. So midterms are upon us. That usually means some kind of project or paper, exam, something like that in every class you're in. And that's tight, y'all. I remember being in that situation and just being like, okay, so we're going to have 4 exams in the span of 36 hours. Yeah, I'm not going to sleep. And that's not the healthy way to do it. Um, Learn from my mistakes. Don't do that. It's a lot to handle all at once. And especially if you work or you have, other commitments to family or whatever outside of class, like that stuff doesn't stop just because it's midterms time. So you've got all the things at once. You've got your commitments. Um, Things can be made a little bit easier if you read your syllabus, which, if you missed the two-parter about the syllabus and why you should read it and all of the goodies that are tucked away inside of it, you should totally check those out. But it's a little bit late for that, right? So if you read your syllabus at the beginning, then you can kind of plan ahead and know when the train is going to really be rolling. So you can try to, if it's a project that you can work on ahead of time and maybe get that out of the way before your exams hit, then, you can kind of plan around and maybe ask for some time off at work or switch shifts with somebody or whatever it is to make extra time during the times that you're going to need that to work on your school stuff. So that you kind of missed the boat on that. Maybe you could rearrange some stuff at work, switch shifts with somebody, but you can't go back in time and read the syllabus and pre-plan. So next semester, goals. But there's still a lot of work, even if you did plan, right? So you've got to do all that studying. You've got to do all the projects and all the things. How do you stay human? And I think the biggest thing that I had to learn, which I'm still working on, y'all, it is a journey. Never reach the mountaintop, but I get better every year. The biggest thing that I had to learn was that I have permission to take a break, even when I've got all these deadlines and all the things. It's okay. A break doesn't have to be a week long. It's like we go from no break to I'm out. I'm not doing any more work this semester. I just got to take care of me. And there's no middle ground. I think that there has to be some kind of compromise where you're saying, okay, I can take some time for me. I can reward myself for making it this far and working this hard and doing what I got to do. I can take 30 minutes to an hour out of each day to do something I want to do. Now, I've got kids. We do homeschooling. I've got a newborn. I've got a full-time job. I'm a wife. So, I've got 8 jobs, okay? So it feels a lot harder to take that time for myself without feeling guilty. But the truth is, if I'm going to be the best mom and wife and teacher and all the things, I have to be whole. And for you to be a student that does your best, you need to be whole too. So you have permission to take a break and to reward yourself, even though you haven't gotten through midterms yet. It's okay. You just got to make sure that you're not taking, 3 days to play a video game when you have an exam in 4 days. Like, let's be responsible, right? Let's be responsible. But it's okay to do something for you each day so that you don't get lost and you don't get burned out. The other thing that I've realized in my years on the planet is that overwhelmed is a feeling. It's a feeling, it's an emotion. And that may sound like water is wet and we breathe air, but it's really in the moment for me when I'm like, and I got to do this and I got to do that, and that's due by this time, and I need to do this. I need to record this podcast. I feel overwhelmed. And I have to take a second to separate myself from all of the crazy to breathe. And during the midterm season where you've got all these things that have to happen at once, and your grade is riding on it, and your grades determine a lot of things for your future, and you just feel all the pressure, that is a time when that overwhelmed feeling can make you break and just say, I ain't doing nothing. And that is also counterproductive. So realize that being overwhelmed is a feeling. And that feeling is based on your assessment of how much needs to get done in comparison to the time and the energy and the resources that you have available to do it. And when you feel like your nose is right up on that wall because you've been immersed in all of the things that you need to do, it's so easy to feel like everything is on fire. And you're like, well, I can't put out all the fire, so I'm just going to walk away from it and let it all burn. Or you're just frantically going from fire to fire, not really putting anything out and wasting all your energy. But if you can separate yourself just a little bit, for me, I sometimes have to physically separate myself from it, like go outside. Maybe for you is go for a walk, go for a drive, walk around Target and try not to buy nothing because your budget ain't like that. Maybe I'm telling on myself a little bit. But do something to separate yourself. And then when you have some calm about you and you can be rational, you can look at what needs to be done and what the real due dates are. What are the real deadlines, the hard deadlines? And then prioritize from there, taking into account what are you best at. So if you have a sociology class that you are just sailing through without issues, then you don't need as much time to do that. So depending on your schedule, maybe you want to just knock that out first so it's off of your to-do list, or you save it for last because you know that in a crunch you can, crank through it and get it done and still do well. So that's really up to you. But you have to have a clear mind and you need to be focused on what the goal is. And the goal is to get everything done that has to be done by the time it needs to be done. And sometimes our assessment of those things, when something needs to be done or what actually needs to get done, is kind of muddy when we feel overwhelmed. So take that time to separate yourself. It don't got to be long. Don't go walk around Target and then go walk around TJ Maxx and then go get some ice cream and then go walk around somewhere else. That's a lot, okay? But maybe if you just do a good lap around Target. I love Target, low key. They're not a sponsor, but oh, if they were. Oh, if they were. Come on, Target. Come through. Do a good lap around Target. If you're like me, I'm going to look at the kids' clothes, because I got kids. I'm going to go through the homeware stuff, which most of the time I don't be buying stuff from that section anyway. But I just like to cook. So I just like to look at stuff. And it's like, ooh, this is colorful. Look through some stuff that you like. I look at hair care stuff. I used to. But I got locks now. So I don't really buy anything in the realm of hair care anymore because I don't have to do a whole lot. But I might still peruse. I might still touch a couple of things and say, oh, that's nice. That probably smells real good. And just calm myself down. So, whatever it is for you, do that. And then you'll have more clarity when it comes to making decisions about what needs to actually get done and when it needs to get done. So, breathe, y'all. You'll be all right. The second part that you probably don't really know about is that it's stressful for professors too. Like, low key, you got to take all the exams in all the classes. We have to write the exams. Well, some people will be using test banks, let's be honest. But you still have to assemble an exam. There's still a little bit of work involved. And then you have to give the exam. You got people who need makeup exams, all the things around that. You have to make sure your grades are caught up because there's always a midterm grade that's due. So there's a deadline for that. And then once you get to that midterm time, the rest of the semester flies by so quickly that you have to be preparing for the things on the back end too. So you're making sure that you have, if you have points for your grade, so this number of points is going to be attendance and this number of exam points and da 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 da. You have to make sure that your points are going to add up by the end of the semester because the syllabus is a contract between you and the students. So like there's a lot of stuff that you need to make sure you have put together so that you can finish strong as a professor. And then around that time, you got people actually looking at their grade for the first time in the semester. Please don't do that. Please look at your grade. So when you turn something in, look at your grades. Look online or wherever it is that you find grades and look at it, see how you do. Instead of just being like, I'm all right, I put it in there, I submitted it, I'm all right, I'm all right, I'm all right. And then you get your midterm grade and you're like, what? Q? A Q? Don't do that. But what happens is there are a lot of students, not all, but there are enough students, because remember, professors teach more than one class. They teach more than just the class you have. So you've got students from all of your classes emailing you saying, hey, so, see, cuz what happened was my cat left and I was feeling sad, and it's not to belittle those types of things, but you have a lot of this put on you. People share their stories. People share the hurt and the depression and all of the things that they're going through. They might share that they have some kind of disability, or they may have some kind of mental health issue, all kinds of things. And so that's a lot to take on as one person. And then you're trying to wade through the waters of, okay, well, this person might need an extension for this person might need some grace, this person's grade, like, can they recover because they didn't do these assignments? Like, there's a lot more to it than just, okay, here's the exam and now here's the grades. So midterms is a time when students start to be more grade conscious and start contacting their instructors more regularly about their grade. What can I do? Is there extra credit? All those types of things. How many points do I need on this? What do I need to get on this exam to get an A or a B or whatever? There's a lot of communication from students to their instructors during that time, and it only picks up as we move towards finals. So while you have your stuff going on with all your classes, your professors are going through too. And not to excuse attitudes or people being rushed or short in emails and stuff like that, but I get it. I understand, like, I've got a lot of these to go through. I've got a lot of people asking a lot of different things of me, and I still have to do my main job, which is teach the course. So when it comes to midterms and moving through midterms to finish strong, let's say that you are in the boat of, my grade isn't exactly where I want it to be. Look at your syllabus first to make sure that you know all of the things that are coming down the line. Are there extra credit options? Know those things up front. And then talk to your instructor. Now, I'm sure you're probably like, okay, but this is a stressful time. If you telling me that they're gonna be short with me and pretty much cuss me out in like a nice way about not coming to them sooner or not looking at my grades sooner or being on top of stuff, why am I go to them in the first place? Good question. Two things. One, you should anyway, and sometimes you just have to ignore the nicety stuff to get what you need. Again, not an excuse for a professor to be rude or mean to you, but sometimes you just got to get what you need and get out. And you can have some choice words for them, once everything is over, but you just need to get in, get what you need, and move on. The other thing is, you got to know how to approach people. And so you need to know how to communicate with your professors in person and via email. So that's actually going to be next week's episode. How do you communicate with people to get your point across and be professional and increase your chances for getting a response that is in your favor? Now, this ain't going to be if I do exactly this, then I will always get what I want. I am not guaranteeing that at all. But you'll at least have an increased chance of being heard and getting some of what you want, if not all. It's all about the presentation. So, get through midterms strong. Look forward to the future and how you're going to finish the semester strong. Keep rewarding yourself as you go along. You need those little nuggets throughout the day. So even if you take 4 15-minute breaks to just read a book, play your guitar, watch some TV, listen to music or something, whatever it is, walk around Target if you're me. Do something each day that gives you that feeling of being human. And not only will you get through midterms, but you'll finish finals stronger than before because you won't be so burned out by the end. I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope you got some nuggets of wisdom, you got some things to try out, and most of all, that you're inspired because you can do this. You can do this. I did things wrong a lot, and I still made it. Still made it. Still got that degree, went on to do a PhD and all the things. So with making all the mistakes that I made, I still got through. You can do this. You can make fewer mistakes, take better care of yourself, and be even better on the other side. So stay strong, take care of yourself, love yourself, prioritize yourself, and get it done. Take care. Make sure that you make it a great day and make it a great day for somebody else. Share your inspiration with someone else and help them through their tough time. And I'll see you back here next time.